In this video, we're going to go over haunches in down the rail. How do you do it? How do you get your horse going into a haunches in? We've been practicing a lot on shoulder in, so now it's progressing on into the haunches in, which is taking and getting your horse bent into the direction of travel. So it's real important that you have your horse able to bend through their body. And a great way to do that is just to be able to ride a 10-meter circle. That's, first and foremost, and you should already have that. You've progressed on up, so if you haven't gone through all the previous videos, you want to have the prerequisites done of your circles, your bends, your counter bends, your shoulder in work. But just as a starter here is think of riding a 10-meter circle at M here. Think of that as my starting point. So if I ride around and I'm on my 10-meter circle, the bend of the circle is already set me up for a haunches in. So if you're not sure what the haunches in is, go back and watch the video on what is a haunches in. So the haunches in is the horse is bent into the direction of travel with the hind coming off the rail. So you have bend and angle, but the bend is now into the direction of travel. So we walk the circle around, and I'll just do that again and show you. So the 10-meter circle creates the amount of bend that the horse needs for your haunches in. Now, right as I come to the starting point, which is at M there, instead of continuing on in the circle, I ask for haunches in. And I head down the rail, and now at any point I could go right back to the circle here and ask my horse to go back around and do another circle. So I don't have to go far, but I can go a little ways, get my circle back, or go back onto the circle to get my horse soft and round again. Now you say, well, how did you do that? What are the cues for the haunches in? The cues are, you're going to slide your outside leg back, bring your outside hip back, and ask the horse to move the hind end off the rail. You're going to create a slight bend to the inside, and if you're doing it from the circle, you've already have the bend because you're going around on the 10-meter circle. So it's think of, I keep the bend of the circle, I slide my outside leg back, I come on, and so see here, if I come on right now, she steps over, and now I'm going to shift my weight slightly, ever so slightly, into the direction of travel. And if my horse doesn't respond, then I'm going to come on with a little vibration with the whip. And you see here she responds fine, so I don't really need to use that. But if not, if you feel like you're coming on heavy with your leg and the horse just isn't responding, then you're going to tap, you're going to say, hey, come on, I need some response. So different horses are going to need different variations or different ways to help get the haunches in. So the circle is one great way. You're just gonna walk that circle. I've got the bend from the circle already there. So I'm walking the circle, and then all I have to do as I start coming to the rail, slide my outside leg back, say stay there, shift my weight to the inside, use my inside rein to say keep bent this way, and ask my horse to go down to the rail. Now that looks easy, and some horses will just pick that up really easy, but most horses aren't. So another way you can do this I'll go down the rail here a little bit and then show you, is do it from a counter shoulder in. So as I head down the rail, I'm in a counter shoulder in. And counter shoulder in, the horse is bent away from the direction of travel. I get my horse to bring his hind end off. Now as I'm going, can I slowly just change the bend? So the angle is the same in a counter shoulder in to a haunches in. But if you're having trouble getting control of that hind end, start off with some counter shoulder in, and I'll do that back down the other direction. So I'm heading down the rail. I do a counter shoulder into the rail. I'm going, I've got her hind end off. Now as I'm going, can I change the bend in her head and neck? Keeping the bend to the inside now. And that was pretty good. And I'll show you coming back because it was probably hard to see from the back there. So I'm heading down the rail in a counter shoulder in. I get my horse to move his hind end off the rail. And now I just slowly change that band. And there I have it. And you don't have to go far, and maybe you lose some of the angle. As long as you're starting to get some of it, you can build on that. But if it just really seems like it's not coming together, you're really getting challenged with it, go back and just spend more time at the shoulder in and counter shoulder in and really get them soft and responsive there. So that's at the walk. Trots, same thing. So you're going along, but make sure you get it good at the walk before you progress. Have a point that's the start of your circle, and as I come around, so if that fence post there is the start of my circle, I'm going to start my haunches in there, right as my horse's head gets to it. And then I could go back to another circle. So my cues are, I've got the bend from the circle, my outside leg comes back, says move your hind end over. And I shift my weight to the inside a little bit, and I keep the bend with the inside rein. And the bend, and you might use the inside rein a little bit to control the shoulders, because when you start pushing the hind end over, this shoulder's going to want to drift over that way too. So if I'm walking down here in a haunches in, I'm going to use this rein just a little bit to help keep the shoulder from popping out. But it's mostly about keeping the bend, getting the horse to get bent and soft this direction here. So we use the circle as a way to get the haunches in. Second way is use the counter shoulder in. So I get the angle, and then I change the bend as I'm going. So again, counter shoulder in, and change the bend as I'm going. And I hold the hind end over there as I'm going. And that was pretty nice. Okay, now there's a third way to help out here, and that is to actually go from a shoulder in. And this way helps more if you're having trouble getting the bend in your horse. So every horse has a little bit different issues, so I'm giving you different variations. So this way here is if you're really not, if the circle's not really getting the bend for you, try a shoulder in, and that's going to help get the bend. And now you're going to keep the bend but go from a shoulder in to a haunches in. So I have to bring the shoulders back to the rail and move the hind end out. This can be a little tricky, but it's a great way to help. Some horses this will really help out with. So if you're having a bend issue, is you can do the shoulder in. So I'm in a shoulder in, that creates the bend, really helps to get the horse soft through the rib cage. Now once I have that, can I slide my outside leg back, bring the shoulders back to the rail, and ask her to bring her hind end in a haunches in. And that was pretty nice. So those are 3 different variations, and you can do those at the walk and the trot. And then I'll show you here haunches in at the canter. So as I'm cantering along, and by no means do we have this perfect with Nisa, she still gets tense at times. And so as I'm going, I just slide my outside leg back and go into haunches in. And don't get in a hurry with this. So I'm going to go from a circle here, just show you. And haunches in. Outside leg comes back, says stay over there, stay soft, stay bent. So I'll come down the center line, haunches in. Nice there. And then we'll do the other lead. So again, I'll just start off. Do I have a nice soft canter circle? She relaxed. As I come around, I slide my outside leg back, control the inside shoulder with the inside rein, little inside knee maybe. Just keep her upright, and that was pretty nice. And then I shift my weight, so I'll do another circle here. So I come around, outside leg comes back, and I shift my weight slightly into the direction of travel. And I'll come down the center line. Nice. So I shift my weight slightly towards the direction I'm going, but not too much. And most of us don't have to worry about this, but sometimes it's the case where the horse actually brings his hind end off too much. So as I was describing in what is a haunches in, was talking about the haunches in helps to engage the horse. But if you ask the horse to bring his hind end too far over, you will lose that engagement, and they're no longer stepping up underneath, but they're crossing over. So most horses don't have this issues, but sometimes I do see this. So just keep that in mind if your horse tends to want to just kind of swing out there, and usually you're not getting a lot of bend in the horse, they're just kind of swinging out there. So just keep that in mind, is you don't want a huge angle. You want about a 3 to a 4 track. And so the 3-track would be the outside front is on its own track, the inside front and the outside hind are on their own track, and the inside hind. In a 4-track, each foot's on its own track going down the rail. Which one do? You have to kind of figure out which one's going to best help your horse. Sometimes just a slight angle is what's best for your horse. Sometimes you need to go a little bit more to get the horse to supple and engage and use himself. So go out there, play with the haunches in, let me know how it's working. If you have any questions about it, leave them in the comments section below, and don't get in a huge hurry of getting it at the Trot and the Canter. Take your time, develop. This is a process. The haunches in is quite a bit of work, and just take your time developing that. So we'll see you in the next video.